Hey everybody, Billy back here with Worship of the Nerds, and today I am going to be doing a tier list of PLL Summer School characters. This is the second season, and I'm going to do my best to try to give a fair ranking based on my thoughts on each character. Uh, Let me know who some of yours are. I will do my best here. I'm just looking real quick to make sure I actually recognize each character, and some of them I may get the names wrong, and that's just how that goes. All right, here we go. So first, I'm gonna go with Archie Waters. Archie, I'm gonna put him as has potential. No, great. Here's the thing. He is a great killer. Um, we know what happened to his sister, which was awful. And I want to learn, and we know what happened to him in his upbringing. So a lot of what he has become has to do with things that happened in his life and his environment. I'm hoping if we do get a season three, we explore Archie Waters' backstory a little bit more, like the more day to day life of what he went through and how his life was when he was younger. But I think he's a great, as they call him, the boogeyman. He's a great killer for this story, and I want to see more in the next season. Knock on wood that there is a season three. But yeah, he's great. I wouldn't put him in icon status yet, but he's getting there. He's definitely great. Next we have Angela Waters. I'm gonna put her in great for now, because the thing is that she was manipulated by the girls' moms. So what was done to her was not right, and it led to her dying. And I just think that she probably was a great character. I would like to learn a little bit more too. I'm hoping we get more into the Waters family in season three. So that's where I would like to take up. I'll put her in great because I do think she was a good person that just happened to get wrong. Next, we have Ash. He's going to Icon. I'm sorry. He's a great boyfriend to Mouse and great guy, and everything that he's went through, I can't even imagine. Probably in real life as well, as a person, but I have to put him in icon just because he is one of the most trustworthy people in the show and consistently good. Bloody Rose. Well, now that we know who it is, she was a scary killer, but the worst. Her logic is just flawed. Everything that happened with her son, and she still thinks he was the victim, and just her blaming Tabby and wanting to, quote, save his legacy, whatever. No, she literally was the worst. Mrs. Langsbury is an awful person, and there's no redeeming quality about her. I cannot make a good excuse or logic for her as to why she's doing what she's doing, like I could for Archie. So I put her in the worst. She's a great killer, yes, and with the challenges, did step it up this season, but she's awful. Chip, he's a POS. He's horrible. He's also in the worst category. What he did to Tabby and Imogen is unforgivable, and just pretending to be nice and everything. And yeah, he is the worst just because of how fake he was and how bad he was. Christian icon. I'm sorry, he's great. He's a movie nerd like Tabby. They tried to use him as a red herring this season, but you could tell that just wasn't who he is, and he's just a great person. I really enjoyed him in this season. He's a great addition to this show, and honestly, he made the show so much better. Just when I thought they could not give us more characters that were great, he definitely is great. This next one is where I'm struggling with. I want to say that's Pastor Malachi, and if that is Pastor Malachi, he's in the worst because he was awful. He was literally leading a cult. And yeah, his church was a cult. And I feel like he got. No, wait. I'm sorry, guys. That's the coach. That is the coach. He's also pretty bad. I won't put him. I'll put him in. I'll put actually the worst because he tried to start a lawsuit against Farron. So yeah, and if Pastor Malachi is not in here, I'm gonna put him in the worst and say he got what he deserved. He was awful. Um, Tabby's mom, I'm gonna put her back in has potential. She Corey actually did redeem herself some this season, even though she didn't appear much. She did back up her daughter and tell her, hey, you are strong enough, you are brave enough, I've got your back, kind of thing. And that's what we needed. So I will say she has some potential. Last season, I think I put her in like bad, but she does have potential. I'm not going to put her in great yet because she still needs to consistently show that she's changing for the better. So I'll put her in has potential. Davy, she was great with Imogen. She really was. And but then with everything that she did, went to Angela Waters and was the ringleader, I still have to put her in bad. I'm sorry. The only reason I can't put her in what just happened. Second, guys. What I can't put her in the worst because there are redeeming qualities with how she handles uh Imogen and helping her with stuff and being a good mom to her. So I'll put her in bad. I won't put her in the worst because there were some redeeming qualities there. However, I can't say has potential because she's gone now. I definitely can't put her in great or icon because she just doesn't have that. Oh, now we have Dr. Sullivan. And is she a bad person? That's up for you to decide. But as far as like a character goes, she was in the original and she was a good red herring in that, and she was a good red herring here. I'm gonna put her in great, not because she's a good person. If we're going by that, she's definitely in bad or the worst. But because the way she was able to play, that actress was able to do both sides of the coin, right? She was able to play the helpful doctor, but then she also had an agenda. I really like that about her this season. Uh, she had more going for her character this time coming back. So I'm gonna put her in great because she did her job well. She was a great red herring, which is what I thought she was. Mouse's mom, I'm gonna put her in has potential. She wasn't in the season enough. She takes off with her other mom, Mouse's other mom, and they just kind of go away on a trip. So yeah, and I'm actually seeing something here that I didn't see before. I'm actually going to go ahead and put Bloody Rose just as a killer as great because she was a great killer. Um, Not as good as Archie though. Okay, Farron, you know where she's going. All the way up to Icon. Because Farron is strong, she sexy, she knows how to kick butt, she's very resilient, she saved a girl's life. Like she is everything that defies an icon, and she's definitely up there. And I will rank the characters within each tier at the end here, guys. So that'll happen. Greg. I would say has potential. I'm put him in great. He actually did grow a lot this season, and everything that happened with him walking away from Kelly in Redemption House, and then also revealing that his cousin was Kevin, that he's actually an ally. So he actually finally did um, step up to himself. Next up, we have Henry. I'm putting him in the worst. Just throughout the season, he wasn't understanding of the as much as he could have been with Farron. Uh, but he also joined the cult, drank the Kool Aid, and I think he could become a bad guy as we go later on. He's been brainwashed and everything. So I'm going to put him in the worst because he actually, I'm going to put him in bad. He hasn't killed anybody that we know of yet. He doesn't deserve to be with these two. So I think I'll put him in bad for now. Imogen, you know where you're going. Imogen is going all the way up to Icon. She is one of the final girls. She is resilient. She had a baby, had to give up the baby, or chose to give up the baby, but still wants to protect her and still concerned about her overall safety. And she's just everything, right? So I would say Farron is the strongest, whereas Imogen is the boldest. She's very brave and overcomes a lot this season. And I think she had a really good character arc this season. So she's going icon, literally one of the best, even despite going through all of the mental health issues she's going through and the hallucinations and everything. she still overcame all of that and became an icon. And she always has been an icon. Next, we have Jen. I can't put her in great. I'm going to put her in has potential. Um, she definitely had, by the way, these two should be reversed. So great's actually higher than has potential, but you guys get. Okay. So Jen has potential. Um, I would say I didn't like how toxic she was with Noah and the lying and the stealing. I really thought that um, she just, there we go, it's fixed. She just stole and did some bad things. Having said all that, I really think Noah does like her. I think she likes Noah. And I did think that she was part of the Bloody Rose team because she just has that villain look. That actress is great, but she does. When you look at her, you see villain. For some reason, I just automatically jumped to that. But I'm going to give her benefit of the doubt and say that she's going to learn from her mistakes if there's a season three. And so she has potential here. Next up, Johnny. Johnny, I'm gonna put in great. I'm not gonna put him in. Well, he does deserve maybe icon, but there wasn't as much screen time. But he literally sat out in his car, waiting, watching Imogen to make sure she was okay. So yeah, he's a great boyfriend and he's a great protector of Imogen. So he is great. I didn't connect with him as much as Christian. That's why he's not an icon yet, but he could go up there if there's a third season. And which, like I said, we're hoping there is. But he definitely was great. Next up, I'm gonna go ahead. I think that's Karen. She's still the worst. She literally has no redeeming qualities and is awful. Just a horrible person. Next up, we have Kelly. And Kelly, I'm not going to put her in icon tier because she is that sixth one that just kind of stands on the outside. I'll put her in great. She does do bad things and make some dumb decisions, but I also think she's very impressionable and has had a bad home life. So having knowing all that, I will forgive her a little bit and I'll put her in great instead of bad. But she's gonna have to continue to show me that she is turning it around and become a hero at one of the end of the season. So I'm gonna put her in great. Next up, we have Noah's mom. She's in rehab. She is trying to get her life together. We'll see what happens next season. I'm going to put her in has potential because maybe she finally turns it around and quits playing the blame game. So we'll see. Mouse, you know where she's going. She's going to Icon. She trolls or watches Spooky Spaghetti. She even tries to help end the Spooky Spaghetti frenzy. So she goes right into Icon. She had a really interesting season. Having her stay with Lola was just interesting. Speaking of Lola, Lola gets has potential. She, I'm thinking, is either on some medicine, has some hallucinations, maybe the start of dementia, something. But she definitely uh, did a lot of weird things this season and was very easy to fool and everything. She just doesn't seem to be all with it mentally, so I will put her in has potential. Next up, we have Mrs. Beasley, bad. I won't put her in the worst because there is maybe hope for her, but she wasn't Bloody Rose and she's not in on the killings, but she has a lot of trauma, so that's why I can't put her in the worst because she actually has reasons why she could be bad. So I'm going to put her in bad for now, but she could go up higher next season. Next up, we have Mrs. Langsbury, and same reasons I explained to you guys earlier. No redeeming qualities, no logic. Literally, her son was a monster and did unforgivable things, but she still has these delusions that he's redeemable. So that makes her irredeemable as well. Just an awful person, and I can't defend her in any way. Noah, icon. She was so funny, even though she does make some bad decisions. I didn't like the way things went down with her and Sean. She's hilarious, and she's an absolute icon. She gives me the Hannah Marin vibes from season one, or of the original show rather. She has those vibes, so I really like her. She definitely grew on me this season, but she was hilarious and such a badass. Principal, obviously the worst, and we didn't really see much of him, and it didn't really even talk about much about him, like what's going on with prison, where did he end up, We heard more about Archie, but not as much about him. But yeah, he's the worst. There's no redeeming qualities for him either. He just played his role, and I feel bad about what happened to his family, but he shouldn't also be going after them and killing people. Um, not sure who this. Oh, Rebecca, right? That's Imogen's new dad's new fiance. The worst. She literally a, makes Imogen tries to make Imogen feel bad about being mad about her wearing Davy's ring, and she goes, "Hey, it doesn't belong to her. We only get her briefly, but she's just an awful person, so I can't defend her either." Sandy, bad. She tries to break up um, Kelly and Greg. Does she deserve death? I'm gonna say no. She's a typical like horny teenager, but I can't say she's good. Sean, Sean. Other than punching a hole in the wall at the end of the season, he was so supportive of Noah throughout the whole season, and he tried to do what was best for her, and he stood up to his own mom, which takes a lot of courage. So I have to put him in great because even though things went down bad, I still like his character a lot. I think he is one of the better ones. I'm gonna put him in great. Sheriff Beasley, the worst. We know what he did to Angela, and there's no redeeming qualities about him. He was just awful, and I do not feel bad about anything that happened to him. Next up, we have Sydney, and I'm gonna put her in great. She is the best mom of any of the moms in the series, and she just wants what's best for her daughter, and she did learn from her mistakes. So I'm going to put her in great. She, to me, is the only mom that gets that. Next up, we have Tabby, icon, of course, movie nerd and survivor of a lot of things, and she's overcome so much, and there's no other tier for her. Tabby this season was the final girl. And we have Wes, the worst, because we find out what his motive was, uh, what he wanted to do, and everything. And he was just awful. He has a fake apology and it just disappears out of nowhere. And then once they said that that it was coming from the Orpheum Spooky Spaghetti, I knew it was him once they said that. So yeah, he's in the worst. All right, let's rank the worst. So the top of the worst will be the best in that tier. So coach, you're gonna go here. Actually, let's do it this way. Yeah, let's do it this way. If you're at the back, you're the worst of the worst, right? You're like the biggest POS. So you didn't kill anybody, but you did slap a lawsuit or threaten to on Farron for no good reason. So he goes as just worse, but he doesn't do anything bad enough to put him at the top of the list. Um, Rebecca also didn't kill anybody or anything, but did say some bad things to Imogen, so she deserves that spot. Then I'm gonna go. This is where it gets tough. Farron was a bully, or not Farron. Sorry, Karen was a bully, but she didn't. Once again, yeah, she was horrible and she said some bad things, but she never killed anybody either. So she's here. Um, this is hard because they're all bad at this point. You're gonna go here because you were the mastermind behind everything, but I can't put you at the top of. I can't put you as like the worst. Um, Wes, because his motives are bad, and or actually no. Let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. She thinks her son is redeemable, and he's not, and she deserves there. So she's really bad. And then he tries to get an underage girl that works for him. So he's also bad, and his whole motive is pretty stupid if you think about it. And then the worst two are these two, just because of what they did. But Chip's the worst just because he got Imogen to like him, and then everything he did to her came out. So yeah. Okay, next one. We're gonna do it the same way. Who is the worst of these? Let's see. Actually, let's start with yeah. So the top of this tier will be for the rest of the time, it's going to be like the best of, right? So, like the best within this tier. Um, I'm going to say, see, Henry betrayed Farron. He wasn't, though, overall a bully, but he did do some bad things that deserves to put him here. Davy did a lot of bad things to Angela, and to me, they were unforgivable. And like I said, she's gone now, so we don't have enough time to put her in like has been. She was a good mom. I'll give her that, but I still think overall she was bad. And then Sandy was just a horny teen, so I just put her in bad. Because she did try to break up Kelly and Greg. And then Mrs. Beasley was just bad. She was probably the well, yeah, they were both a part of the cult. I tell you what, I'm gonna be generous. We'll put you like we'll do like this. So you're the worst, you're next, and then you're the best in that screw. Okay, has potential. So least potential to most potential, or most potential up front. So I'm gonna say least potential here. I who would I trust the least out of these? We didn't get enough time with her this season, so it's hard to say. We didn't get time with her. Um, I'm worried about her mentally, but she could still be a good person. And as of now, of what they've done to prove to me that they're good, I'm gonna go you at the back. I think she has a lot of work to do to prove that she is really great mom to Mouse. So I'm gonna say she has potential, but she's at the bottom of the tier. Um, Same thing with you. You're gonna have to prove to me. Actually, yeah, let's do it like this. You're gonna have to prove to me that you're good for Noah because you threw her under the bus. So she's better than her because she threw her own daughter under the bus, even though she was the one doing the drugs. All right. Then Lola mentally has issues. I'm worried about her, but she's probably. I still think she's a decent person. She just gets mixed up, so I don't only blame her for that. You still have some stuff to prove, but you are getting better, so I'll put you here. And then Jennifer at the top because I think she could end up becoming a good girlfriend to Noah. So I want to put her at the top of has potential. All right, now we're getting to the great characters. There's not much more we can do with her because she's gone, right? And you were just good killers. So you go to the bottom because you were a killer, and you go above her because you're more iconic. And you could have a interesting backstory that could make you more understandable and relatable. And I have what I call Michael Myers syndrome happened with this season because whenever they could see her as not a woman in mask but just as a person, when they could see her just a person, they were able to take her down easily, right? And that's the thing, same thing with him. They're gonna have to be able to see him as not a boogeyman but as a human in order to end up ultimately defeating him. Next up, he could become more understanding of his girlfriend being bisexual. So I'm gonna put him kind of like he could become even better, basically. He could go into icon because of how good he is. These are characters that could, minus he could become an icon killer. But these people here, I think, all could become an icon with the right story and build. You did some bad things as well, though. So actually, we're gonna put you below Sean. You have more potential, and she's gone now, so he has more potential. Um, who do I think has potential here? You didn't really do anything bad to deserve what happened to you, and we might learn more about you. I'll put you here for now since you're gone, but not forgotten kind of thing. I think as of now, Sydney's better than her. Johnny's better than Greg. So you go to the top. Greg, you're second, though. You keep growing the way you are, you're going to become an icon. So that's where I'm at with these guys. Okay, now it's time for the hard part icon. Who is the best of the best? Who is my favorite character of the season? This is tough. Um, Gosh, it's so hard because I like all these characters for different reasons. And I'm going to put. We've only had one season with him, but I like him so much because I can totally relate to his love of movies. Not to the level he is, I'm not there, but I like collecting them and I can understand his love of horror and stuff. So he deserves a high spot. Let's see. At the bottom of this list, Mouse, or no, let's go you first because I like his character a lot. He's great, and he's a great boyfriend. But we need more story with him, and we need him on screen more. So I think he is an icon though still, but I'd like to see them do more with this character. It just feels like at times that sometimes he gets kind of forgotten about or isn't used enough. But I really like him. Next up, Christian. I can relate to him quite a bit, and he's a movie, like so he's into movies and stuff. But no one can top the five girls, right? I mean, he might be. He's close though. He's close. Okay, here's where it gets really, really tough because now we're in the top five. Okay, I'm putting Noah. I hate doing this because I love her humor. She was my favorite the first two episodes of the season, but I got to put her in the bottom of the girls because she does make some bad decisions when it comes to like her, Jen, and Sean, just like the way she handles things and how toxic it is with her and Jen. I'm hoping that does change. But I was going to put her originally at the top if you had asked me my rankings at the beginning of the season, but I can no longer justify that. So I have to put her at the bottom of the five girls. Next up, we have Mouse. Mouse was looking at Spooky Spaghetti, and she does have a dark side and tends to get into these darker situations. But I like her for that, and I do hope we see her. The thing with Mouse is we haven't got to see her fight back yet. It's been mostly she's the smallest one, and I get that, but I'm waiting for her to have her like moment of beating up people. But she's also very sweet, so I have to put her up there too. Um, Next up is Imogen. Imogen overcomes a lot. She's hallucinating. She's on medicines. She's trying to be somebody else for a while. She just goes through so much this season. But I definitely have to put her in the middle because I really like her character and she is going through a lot of growth. And she did such a good job of sussing out Dr. Sullivan. And yeah, she's just an icon. And she's so good. Bailey Madison's so great with her um, reactions and the character work is incredible with all of these people. I mean, they play their characters well. Otherwise, they wouldn't be the worst characters, right? They play the bad characters well, and the good characters play their good characters well too. Now, top two. This is where it's tough because last season, Farron was probably my favorite. I'm going to put her second this season and Tabby at number one. I'll tell you why. Farron is strong and uh, very brave, and she wants to run headfirst into Bloody Rose for her challenge, and she does win. She kicks so much butt. It's just incredible how awesome she is. She saves the kid. She's an incredible lifeguard. She realizes she doesn't need that though. She is an icon, a queen, whatever you want to call her. She's amazing. Tabby's number one. The movie references her ability to overcome the trauma, her like just boldness in the finale, and it was her season to shine, right? Last season Imogen got the time to shine. This season it was all about Tabby at the end, and she overcame not one but two killers and the cronies, and the girls did show up to rescue her at the end, but it was so iconic with the showdown with her and Wes. So Tabby takes season two as the top character, biggest icon of them all this season. Well, guys, that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave me a comment. Who were your favorite characters this season? Who do you consider to be your icons? But this season, there were six in icon status, and I could easily see Greg, Johnny, Kelly all going into the icon tier. Sean has some work to do to be more understanding. Um, Jennifer has some potential to become greater iconic next season as well, if there is a season three, which we're hoping there is. Henry could end up going into the worst if he is part of that group of masked killers. We will see if that's what it was, even. It could be a different villain. But yeah, that's where I'm at on my rankings. I hope you enjoyed this one. Remember, this is just my rankings. I would love to see your rankings in the comments below. That's all I have for today. Take care.